told these are artifacts of your pagan upbringing. The only thing that was allowed was an organ. That is Christian. But
that was a European argument.
Well, this is an example that I'm giving, that things like that, those, as you said, this is not integral to the matter of Christianity. It isn't. And I would like to see, as you just mentioned, and I completely agree, that we are able to go back to the sources and reinterpret those sources for ourselves. There is a scholar, Lamine Sané, who is a Guinean and actually is resident here in the US, who has written extensively about what he calls the theory of translation. How does Christianity get translated into another culture? One of the things he mentioned is that the growth of African Christianity, or what he calls African institutions, churches, owes very much to the ability of the leaders or the founders of these Christian communities to read the scripture in their vernacular language. That when they were able to read the scripture in the vernacular and not simply use catechism, they were able to develop practices that were more in tune with, shall we say, their religious legacies. And of course there will be areas of tension in this process. But I believe that something that grows out of this tension is more representative of what our faith is all about. That's something that is simply imbibed as a prefabricated catechism that I have to simply just memorize. And that's how I learned catechism, by the way. It was question, answer, question, answer. And I want to come back to this later, but please go ahead.
Go back 600 years, everything you're describing sounds like Northern Europe, different countries, thinking of what their role in religion is, what they thought of God, separate, very, very, very different from Southern Europe. Comes Father Tetzel along to sell indulgences, and the straw that broke the camel's back. Martin Luther creates this thing that just sweeps through Northern Europe. It says we're going to break loose from Rome. We're going to have Christianity that makes more sense for our culture. It sounds like that's what you're describing is going to happen in Africa. Would you comment?
I would say that what I'm looking at is an ability to renew from within and the courage to let that happen. So I'm talking about transformation, and I'm talking about change. And I would like to see that come from members of this Christian community who believe enough, who hold it dear to make that change a lifelong quest, a vocation. Yes, it's about change, it's about transformation from within this community.
And the reason that Martin Luther, Henry VIII, and all those fellows took off is that those old Italian priests were not willing to change. And do you see hope here?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I do. I see hope in the sense that, as I've just described, there is a vibrancy, there is a growth within the Christian community at different levels. Last week we were talking about, theological competence and scholarship amongst lay Christians, and I know that something like that can in fact transform. I see hope. I really see hope, because this is the church that I love, and this is the church for which I gave up my own indigenous African belief to be a part